Hey, this is Pamela Schneider, retail editor for Blue Book Services. And Greg, you're back. Did you miss anything while you were gone?
Some things have gone on. One of the most interesting things to me is everyone in the work world is working from home now and trying to figure out how that works. And you and I are the experts of that.
I know, right? Except I'm so used to being here in my office of magic all by myself. And coming tomorrow, I'm going to have a coworker over there. I'm going to be sharing space with my husband as he has been quarantined at home because I picked up a little something on the way home from Orlando.
I imagine you're not the only one with that.
Yeah, so I'm stuck at home and I haven't been to the store in a while, so I've been sending people for me. And the world went crazy in the past week with coronavirus and with what's going on. And it's just been flooding our news, and every day there's a new angle that we have to pursue. The first one that really hit was retail wipeout, just basically apocalyptic proportions of stocking up that people were doing, including my props over here. My husband bought bananas every time he went to the store because every time he went, they were almost out. So now I have too many bananas. But that actually prompted a story that got passed around quite a bit in the produce industry. Purdue University sent out a blog post that basically was reassuring consumers that there's no reason to avoid fresh produce right now. Obviously, there's not. The FDA has some advice out there that it doesn't, and we even talked about this before. Produce doesn't change in a coronavirus outbreak. It's not a vector for the virus, but apparently people felt like they needed to be reassured. But I'm also reassuring you that I don't know a retailer in the country that isn't selling more produce than they were selling last week.
It would have to be a weird situation where they weren't, because people are definitely going to the grocery stores more because they're going to food service less, because most cities and areas have not necessarily closed restaurants, but closed the dining portion, and that's a significant portion. Some restaurants will still be able to do some business with drive-through and pickup and delivery, but it's still much smaller. And people never eat less; they eat differently. So now they're going to the grocery store, and yeah, the ones I've been in, produce a couple times, produce departments were picked through. But as we got from Joe Watson when we had that column of his talking about the magic of produce, it is magic. The supply chain is amazing, but it's not like impervious to supply and demand curves. So another thing that we're hearing just this week is grocery stores are starting to change their hours in order to both disinfect and be able to replenish properly. And good grocery stores will be replenishing throughout the day. So really, they're starting to get a handle on what this new demand is. And I think that's a really good sign.
Yeah, the one in my neighborhood, and I gush over them all the time because they do a really fantastic job, is HEB. And they're also doing some community outreach because this panic buying didn't come from nowhere. It came from a lot of different sources. The media, of course, has been blamed for some of this. We're part of the media.
It came from jerks doing stuff like buying pallet loads of this.
Right.
This is normal supply. I live with 3 females. Like, this is about 2 days supply. But we're not hoarding.
No, you're not hoarding toilet paper. I'm not hoarding bananas. But every time you see a picture on social media of an empty shelf, an empty produce department, an empty meat case, or in my case, the meat case, all it's got left is like Beyond Burger and chicken hearts and beef tripe.
The meat case of shame.
Yeah, the meat case of shame. That's a good one. Every time you see a picture like that, it kind of hits us in this visceral place where we're like, well, I don't want to be left out. I don't want to have to go to the store and pick through what's left. But HEB's been doing a really great job of publishing videos showing the behind the scenes of the supply chain, videos from their warehouses showing warehouses full of products. It's not that the retailers don't have the products, it's just that there's only so much you can do. When we have a rush like Thanksgiving, for example, they know ahead of time. They have year over year data. They know what to stock up on, and they know when to do it. You can't just pull it out of a hat here and predict that everyone's going to buy every roll of toilet paper for and every thing of hand sanitizer. Oh, by the way, I've got another one. I can sell it on the black market. You can't predict this. And the other thing that happened this week, of course, is with food service and just the complete unpredictable wipeout of 50 to 90% of most food service distributors' business is gone. Where does all that produce go, and where do all these people go? What do we do now? A lot of unknown questions and a lot of creativity going on, but this has just been a crazy week.
Your food service story was really good in that you talked to some people and they talked about some of the ways that they're still being involved in the business. And I noticed one of your sources talked about how they have an excess in food service of all this truck capacity and distribution center capacity, and hopefully they are making some deals with other suppliers.
Yeah, I spoke with Melissa Ackerman from Produce Alliance, and they have a lot of things going on as far as switching some of their members or switching over to doing direct business with consumers. Meal kits too are another thing that may resurge in popularity. I know Blue Apron stock, which I have been watching for the last couple of years, and most people watched it go like this the last couple of years. Well, it's actually turned around quite a bit in this, where people are looking to get food delivered direct to them. So anyone who's already got a foothold in direct to consumer business is doing really well right now, or even they're over capacity.
Yeah, and that's a good sign. It's funny to see how the produce industry is really stepping up, and it really makes me feel good, especially when you see other people in other industries, like a lot of the service industries, or I have friends in the sports businesses. They have nothing to do. This is an unprecedented time where there are no sports going on, there's no entertainment going on, so people in those industries have all this extra time on their hands, whereas people in produce are having to work 25 to 50% more because people are going to the stores, people are still eating. The transportation system, the fact that it's so good and it's still working the way it's designed is awesome. And the fact that gas prices are plummeting, and interestingly, there's no demand.
Yeah,
because
right.
You can go somewhere, but you can't stay.
Yeah, you can go on a Sunday drive, go look at the sites. You know what, my grandpa used to do that. He used to take us on the Sunday drive, just drive around the lake and then go back home. We're all looking at what we're going to do. And one of the things that I've been telling people that they need to think of doing, my kids are here for the indefinite future. You live on the Missouri side, not the Kansas side, so at least you haven't been officially cut off for the rest of the year.
That's true.
One of the things that we can be doing is cooking. What better time for recipe content creators right now to step in and remind consumers that, especially with the bounty of produce that's at a lot of grocery stores, maybe you can't find rice and beans right now, but I'm pretty sure you can find a produce item that you haven't tried before. And to get out there and try something new. Without soccer, I've got hours and hours in the evening that I haven't had in years. So there are some bright sides, and coming together as families and, meal prep is something that we can actually all do together. And it can be, an exciting opportunity to try something new.
Yes, every day seems to bring something new, but food and produce can definitely be a bright spot. And after we start to get some normalcy under whatever the system is that we're in, there is a lot of opportunity to grow and expand and do different things. And people who have never tried grocery delivery may try it, and they may find that they like it. And so that's another avenue for retailers.
Or your grocery store may be the only place you can go So you fight over who gets to go to the store.
So
That
everyone's got to get out at least a little bit.
Yeah, at least a little bit. It's the only place you can go. I may have to draw straws to see who gets to go to the store in our house. All right, well, we're going to keep following up with this. We've got a couple, quite a few other angles that going forward are what should we be focusing on? What's going to be happening with some of these commodities that are targeted toward food service? How are these food service players going to move forward? Am I ever going to get tested for coronavirus?
I think no at this point.
I know my doctor told me just to stay home and just assume I have it. But stay tuned to the Produce Reporter newsletter. We come out daily from Blue Book Services. And if you are not getting the Produce Reporter, go to producebluebook.com and sign up. Excuse me. Yeah, I gotta get started on eating some of these bananas.
Totally.